Hey there, moms. If you have a child who struggles with math, this video is for you. So, if math lessons in your home end in tears, either yours or your child's, I want you to know right away that you are not failing and you're not alone. I homeschooled 8 kids, and while some of my kids picked up math very naturally, one of my children in particular really struggled. And that struggle completely changed how I approached teaching math. Eventually, I realized with her that my goal wasn't to make her great at math. My goal was to help her learn what she needed to learn without hating learning and without math becoming the subject that damaged our relationship. So, if you have a child who struggles with math, let me share some things that helped us and things I learned along the way. Number one, the first thing that we did was stop everything else and focus on mastering math facts. When I saw that my daughter was still using her fingers to count out and figure out answers, I knew that she wasn't going to be able to succeed with multiplication or division. So we paused and we drilled addition and subtraction facts every single day. The lessons were short. We didn't spend a long time on it, but we were consistent. And I made sure that she learned those and had them down by memory because a strong foundation matters much more than rushing ahead. Another thing I learned is that children who struggle with math need a lot of repetition and review. When she learned a new concept, she had to practice it several days in a row for it to really stick. If we missed a day early on, it really felt like starting back at day one again, and I have to start all over, explaining it all to her and teaching it again. So once I realized that that repetition was necessary, I became much more diligent about repeating and reviewing daily till I knew she really had that. And that really helped me to be more patient with her, knowing that as well. I also had to learn my child's tolerance limit for math. And honestly, my own tolerance too. By the time that she was in third or fourth grade, I realized that she could only handle about half of a math lesson at a time. Anything more than that, if we pushed beyond that point, then we would have frustration setting in very quickly. Sometimes she melted down, sometimes I did. Stopping early wasn't really quitting, it was the wise thing to do. Another important thing that I learned was to take a break from a concept when we seem to be hitting a wall. Sometimes a child's just not ready for something, maybe let's say long division yet. And just because that's the next concept in the book, that doesn't mean you have to do it right then. So there were times when we would set that hard concept aside and move on to a different thing, maybe like multiplication for a while. And often when we came back to that difficult concept later, she was suddenly able to grasp it much more easily. One of the biggest mindset shifts for me was realizing that the curriculum should not be my master, but my guide. The child who struggles with math isn't going to move through the curriculum the same way that your other children might. And that's okay. I had to give myself permission to slow down, adjust, and even take 2 years to complete a 1 year math program. Remember, mastery is the goal, not speed. So if it takes 2 years for mastery, that's better than moving ahead and running into frustration and then having to go back. And also, if you do that, your child feels like a failure in math, and you don't want that to happen. One of the hardest but most important lessons I learned was this: never let math or any subject trump your relationship with your child. There were times I wanted to just push through until she got it, but I could see it hurting our connection. And we want to remember that homeschooling is about more than academics. It's about keeping our kids' hearts and building that relationship. No math lesson is worth damaging the relationship with our child. So if your child struggles with math, don't despair. You're not alone. And God did not design all children to learn the same way, and that includes math. The key is finding what works for your child and your family, and then giving yourself grace in that process. So if this encouraged you, I'd love for you to subscribe for more Christian parenting and homeschool encouragement. And let me know in the comments, what is your biggest math struggle right now? I'd love to know.